Welcome back to the Knowledge Network online forum series organized by the Tourism Linkages Network, a division of the Tourism
Online forum series organized by the Tourism Linkages
Agency of the
Network,
Ministry of
a
Tourism,
division of the
Jamaica.
Tourism online forum series organized by the
Tourism Linkages Knowledge Network. The Tourism Linkages Network plays an essential role in supporting the tourism industry's goal of achieving growth and development targets through the creation and strengthening of linkages between local suppliers of goods and services to the tourism industry. The network continues to play a key role in creating collaborative relationships that build capacity and sustainability, which are drivers of socio-economic advancement. The work of the Tourism Linkages Network impacts stakeholders across a number of industries and sectors, specifically agriculture, manufacturing, gastronomy or culinary, sports and entertainment, shopping, health and wellness, and knowledge. Since 2016, the network has executed projects and programs which have provided opportunities for local suppliers to access the tourism industry supply chain, as well as to contribute to the diversification of Jamaica's tourism product using these passion points: gastronomy, health and wellness, knowledge, shopping, and sports and entertainment. The Knowledge Network, in keeping with its objective to foster the growth of the tourism knowledge economy, has engaged in the development of strong intellectual and practical partnerships and linkages from which knowledge can be leveraged and applied. As we celebrate Tourism Awareness Week 2022 under the theme, Rethinking Tourism, today's forum will focus on reimagining tourism in a post-pandemic world. This is a timely discussion as Jamaica navigates the post-pandemic world. As tourism stakeholders, we will seek to embrace new strategies, new orientation, and new ethos to ensure that the sector is more resilient, sustainable, inclusive, and competitive. In seeking to develop tourism and maximizing its impact, the strengthening of linkages with other sectors of the economy is a major task, and this usually requires investment in building productive capacity, example of agriculture, manufacturing, and service sectors, so that they may more efficiently meet the sophisticated demand of the tourism sector. Central to this process will be the implementation of the Ministry of Tourism's Blue Ocean Strategy, which will seek to enhance value creation through product differentiation and diversification, thereby allowing Destination Jamaica to be more sustainable, appeal to new markets, and to stimulate new demand. The Tourism Linkages Network will play a critical role in supporting this strategy. Today, we're joined by distinguished panelists: Mrs. Nicola Maddenbray, the chairman of the Gastronomy Network; Mr. Kamal Banki, chairman Sports and Entertainment; Mr. Kyle Mays, chairman of Health and Wellness Network; and Mrs. Lisa Bell, managing director of the Exim Bank. We will have, after each presentation, we will take the question and answers after each presentation, as some of our presenters have other engagements and will leave before the ending of this virtual forum. Our first presenter is Mrs. Nicola Maddenbray. With over 25 years experience in the hospitality business, she has held previous management positions and is currently the group director of marketing and sales for the Courtly Hotel Group, which properties include the Courtly Hotel and Suites, the Knutsford Court Hotel, the Courtly Corporate Center, the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel, and the Holiday Inn Resort, Montego Bay. A graduate of Convent of Mercy Academy, Alpha, she pursued undergraduate studies at the Florida International University, receiving a bachelor's degree in hospitality and tourism management with honors, and was enrolled in the Phi Kappa Phi Honors Society. Yay, Nicola. On returning to Jamaica, she pursued further studies at the University of West Indies, Mona School of Business, attaining an executive master's in business administration with distinction. An active participant in the business of tourism, she is currently the president of the Caribbean Hotel and Tourist Association. She sits on the boards of the Jamaica Tourist Board, the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, as well as the Tourism Linkages Council. And external to the industry, the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, and the Alpha Academy High School. She's a two-term past president of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association and currently the chair of our Gastronomy Tourism Network. She's also the founder and co-chair of the Kingston City Run, which have a half marathon, 10K and 5K charity run, which is now in its 8th year. Mrs. Maddenbray was recently honored by her country, receiving one of the island's highest honors, the Order of Distinction Officer category for her contribution to the establishment of the Jamaican brand on the world tourism stage. In June 2019, she again received the prestigious JHTA President's Award for her invaluable contribution to the support of the industry. She previously received the JHTA President's Award in 2006 for her significant contribution to the JHTA and to the marketing and promotion of Kingston in particular and Jamaica in general. Ladies and gentlemen, the chairman of the Gastronomy Network, Mrs. Nicola Maddenbray.
Morning, Umar. Thank you very much for that introduction. I'm very excited to be here to be a part of this Tourism Awareness Week Knowledge Forum and to tell you a little bit about what we've been doing in the Gastronomy Network, and then to have a little bit of a discussion on the way forward, especially as we move now to reimagine tourism coming out of 2 years of a pandemic. So the Gastronomy Tourism Network is one of the 5 networks that was established. And we have been working from day one to create and realize the goals of Jamaica being the culinary destination of choice for visitors. In 2019, Jamaica welcomed around 4.3 million visitors to our shore, and they came for various reasons. And what we have been doing over the years is ensuring that one of those reasons, of course, is to enjoy our gastronomy, our food, our culinary experiences. So our strategy focuses on creating a framework that will combine and promote culinary enterprises, resources, and festivals. And as we are the linkages network, it's back-end linkages into manufacturing, agriculture, and everything else that is the nexus of ensuring that gastronomy continues to drive the tourism product, but also the backward linkages. So we continue to work on this through various aspects, and the reason that we're seeing is that more and more persons are looking at being able to live their passion points. And one of the passion points is, of course, enjoying great food and beverage and experiencing what each destination has to offer. And Jamaica has a lot of indigenous products that are really world-renowned. Of course, our jerk is one of them, but there's so much that people have not yet experienced. So we work to develop partnerships, as I pointed out, and to link our gastronomy sector so that these items can be packaged and marketed globally. So whether it's our Blue Mountain coffee or various spices and herbs, we just continue to look at how we work with the manufacturing and agricultural sector to push that out and then through those experiences. So our objectives were to create distinct gastronomy destinations across Jamaica, to create several engaging tourism products that will attract new travelers as well as enhance the island experience. As I said, to engender our backward linkages to agriculture and manufacturing and other sectors, and to create the framework to promote culinary experiences, enterprises, festivals, and local cuisine. The new visitor is looking literally to live like a local. Coming out of the pandemic, we're seeing a lot of persons are wanting to go out and have those experiences within the communities, in outdoor spaces, and to enjoy the life of the local. And that is something that is really key to how we promote gastronomy. We, of course, have lots of all-inclusive hotels, and more of our all-inclusive hotels continue to offer tours and experiences that takes you into the communities. And that's a part of the partnership that we're talking about. So we also have EP hotels that are in development, particularly in Kingston and on the South Coast and in the East in Port Antonio. We have a lot of EP hotels that, of course, encourage the guests to go out and experience all that is Jamaica. So who is this Culinary Taurus? Typically, they're well-heeled and well-traveled. They have more disposable income. They're interested in authentic culinary experiences. They want to consume high-quality, locally grown products. They seek to expand their knowledge base. So it's not just about eating the food, but understanding how this food is grown, what is the story behind it, the history, where did we come up with this recipe, where do we come up with this experience? Is it related to our culture? Was it imported? And then we took it and made it better. They want to expand their knowledge base. They want, as I said, they care about the origin of the cuisine. As you know, in Jamaica, we're out of many one people, and we like to say that we're also out of many one food. We have a really very dynamic mix of persons who have come to live in Jamaica that make us who we are as Jamaicans. And they want to immerse themselves in the world of freedom and novelty. So they plan their trips partially or totally in order to taste the cuisine of the place or to carry out activities related to gastronomy. The main elements that decide whether a destination is a gastronomy destination revolve around territory, cultural heritage, sustainability, quality, communication, cooperation, and marketing and promotion. So these are the things that we have been working on over the years, and these are the things we'll continue to work on as we reimagine our tourism product going forward. As I said, a lot of persons are now having come out of the pandemic and being in that, kind of a bubble of not being able to go out and experience the world. The demand for travel has increased significantly. We in the Caribbean are seeing a lot more people come in, but they also want to have unique experiences and want to have that taste of the country, so to speak, so that taste of Jamaica. We've conducted baseline research and analysis over the years to determine why is it people are attracted to our island and why our cuisine is doing what it does. And we have continued to explore and create centers for gastronomy. We did surveys as far as 2021, which was our last survey. And we saw persons coming from USA, Canada, and we saw a movement. When we did our first surveys in 2016, weather was the main factor, followed by beach and people, why people came to Jamaica, visitors chose Jamaica. By 2021, weather was still top, sea and beaches, yes, but now food and drink had moved up to the top 3 place, followed by people and friendliness. So that whole issue of what's happening in terms of gastronomy, you can see that visitors are traveling for those experiences. And this is important as we rethink and reimagine our tourism product. How do we create new experiences, destination restaurant experiences, new cuisine? We all promote our traditional cuisine, ackee and saltfish. Everybody know escovitch fish, but what are the new Jamaican cuisine items that are coming up? Tonight, we have the Table Talk Awards, and that celebrates a lot of new and innovative items. And we see a lot of young chefs coming up now and home cooks and different persons experimenting with the new vision for Jamaican cuisine. So while we continue to push the traditional and authentic, what we are now celebrating and pushing as a gastronomy network is the next level of Jamaican cuisine. What is going to be famous? You have to think about it. When jerk started in Jamaica, most of us would know, some of us don't, if you're younger, that you couldn't get jerk anywhere on the island but in Portland. So you had to drive there to get your jerk chicken and your jerk pork. Now it's proliferated all over the island, it's international, and that is the kind of thing that we need to see. What is the next great Jamaican food cuisine movement? So jerk has been a big movement, which has built out sauces and spices and restaurants and cookbooks and all sorts of things behind it. Now, what is the next level of experience that we're going to share with the world? So we find also, since coming to Jamaica, people are more seeing that Jamaica is actually a culinary destination, and that increased by 20 points. To help us promote Jamaican gastronomy, we created a master brand, Taste Jamaica, and we use this in all our promotional elements. Of course, this is something that kind of says to the world, going beyond just Jamaica, sun, sea, and sand, but you have to taste Jamaica. We have done a lot in terms of creating Kingston as our first main gastronomy resort area. And we have focused on Devon House, the Blue and Jonquil Mountain, and also working with agriculture and manufacturing. Devon House is our first gastronomy center, and Devon House has a strong narrative. We have leveraged its famous ice cream, its patties, its signature culinary experience. As I said, the Table Talk Awards will be held again there this evening, and they have so many food events that happen at Devon House. So they have created day versus nighttime experiences, food tours, fine dining experiences. So Devon House is now in a refurbishment mode and are going to be increasing the amount of gastronomy experiences. So as we go forward, Devon House will continue to be a center where we celebrate gastronomy and push the new experiences that are Jamaican. Our Blue and Jonker Mountain, we started the Culinary Trail in 2017, and since then we have added numerous other restaurants and cafes along the way. Blue Restaurant is in a new one that is in Holywell. We just added that. There is another cafe that has just opened up in Middleton, which we'll be adding soon. So on the Culinary Trail, you can stop on the way up to Holywell at various cafes and bars along the way and attractions. And we highlight that. There is signage. You can go and there is a QR code. You can scan, get more about the restaurant, get more information about the Blue Mountain Culinary Trail. We've also worked on a berry farming project with the agricultural subgroup. And this is really, again, import substitution. We now have our Jamaican strawberries, and that's something that we're celebrating tonight, again, at the Table Talk Awards. And this is where we have been working with farmers to create more space for berry production, particularly strawberries, because we use that a lot in tourism. And it's a great opportunity for us to move Jamaican cuisine along in a different way. There are other countries that have adapted and taken what was maybe food from one country and made it special and unique based on their topography and have used that. And those are some of the elements we need to focus on. We also have our Blue Mountain Coffee Festival, of course, celebrating Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee, which is one of the signature products out of Jamaica. And we have been doing that since 2018. With the pandemic, we had it virtual for 2 years, and we'll be back again in 2023, celebrating Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee, but also including more and more activities around, which is blending the linkages in terms of, our Blue Mountain Downhill Bicycle Tour, the Blue Mountain Culinary Trail, being able for persons to visit the coffee plantations, because that's a part of the experience. And not only that, but the linkages in terms of manufacturing all the products that are made out of coffee scrubs, teas, herbs, other things as well. To help again with our marketing and promotion, we have our Taste Jamaica website and mobile app, and this is now being updated to meet the new needs of our consumers that are coming to the market. And we will be promoting farm to table experiences, more culinary trails, how you can get in, all the restaurants, and we do them by category, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, type of cuisine. So a true way for locals and visitors to see all that is happening in the gastronomy space. So just quickly recapping, Devon House, it's 13 culinary options and expanding. It attracts over 50,000 guests to its mansion, shops, and restaurants each month. We have our Culinary Trail, which has 14 entities and expanding. The Coffee Festival, as I mentioned, in the past, we've had over 2,500 participants. Remember, 2 years we were virtual, and we continue to strengthen with our berry farming project. Just again, where are we going for the future? Localization, as I said, is hot. We are supporting local brands, farmers, and artisans. Pop-ups are all the rage. We are seeing a lot of pop-up restaurants, but also we have things like Jamaica Food and Drink Kitchen that has opened up recently, which continues to offer various pop-up experiences using different chefs, focusing on different types of cuisine, whether it's, various alcohol products that we make in Jamaica, or looking at different food options and showcasing, as I said, various local chefs. Customization and personalization is on trend, especially for weddings and special occasions. So again, this is where you can celebrate your Jamaican gastronomy as local products, using as much local products as possible. A growing segment in the US and here in Jamaica, we're seeing it, which is restaurant meal kits. Butcher Block, for example, has been producing meal kits that you can buy. And this is something that we feel is another way to promote Jamaican gastronomy. Not everything, of course, can ship overseas for a visitor, but you could do a similar box where you have non-perishable Jamaican gastronomy items that could be bought online. And we're seeing a lot of companies opening up and now offering online purchases from Jamaica. We're also seeing that there are still a lot of people that are working from home or working from anywhere, and pizzas and other types of things that are very Jamaican in terms of the ingredients are coming to the fore. Persons are able to offer these new options, and this is another way to think about how we build out our gastronomy experience. So not only going into a restaurant, but what can you order online? What can you deliver to persons working at home? What can you deliver to visitors in a villa or an apartment who would like to have something unique for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, but maybe not that day want to go out and experience an actual restaurant experience or gastronomy experience? So giving them all the options, both staying in and going out. Of course, delivery has evolved and it's exploded during the COVID-19 pandemic, and we see a lot of options for delivery. And this is something that works very well for visitors. As you said, the visitor on the island is not only staying in an all-inclusive, they're staying in EP hotels, they're staying in apartments, they're staying in villas. And so they too would like to experience our Jamaican cuisine, as I said, both in-house as well as going out to experience those farm-to-table experiences, or restaurants or bars, or going to a factory to get a tour, to see how coffee is made, to see how rum is made. All of this is a part of the whole gastronomy experience. Or going to like food and drink kitchen to be taught how to cook Jamaican cuisine. Again, we are also working on, as part of our push, a new kitchen at Devon House, which will also be doing the same thing in terms of offering that experience for you to go and interact with family and friends, but also to cook and learn how to cook Jamaican cuisine. We are seeing a lot of pop-ups, as I mentioned earlier, and there are also really great farm-to-table experiences out there like Stush in the Bush. And we are encouraging more and more entrepreneurs to look at the options to really offer very unique destination experiences in the gastronomy space. So in conclusion, Jamaica has all the key elements of a gastronomy destination, but we need to build out further experiences. Over the years, we have had 30 plus stakeholder consultation sessions, working with tour operators, restaurants, food festivals, attractions, funding agencies. The public-private sector has worked on various projects in execution. And as we reimagine tourism going forward, we need to think about how do we continue to incorporate communities which have very unique and special things. You know, if it's Yam in Trelawney, you know, what else are we going to build? Our street vendors, we have some really great street vendors and spots, middle quarters in the South Coast, and we will continue to work with our partners to ensure that when you come to Jamaica, there is so much to do and see and eat that you won't know which one to choose. And as we go forward, we work with the other committees as well to incorporate gastronomy into those experiences, whether it's a music festival, health and wellness symposium. We continue to build together to showcase the best of Jamaica. Thank you. Omar, I'm not hearing you. I think you're still muted.
Oh, thank you very much, Nicola. I thank you for highlighting all the wonderful work that you have done, you and your committee have done in showcasing Jamaica as a culinary destination. And it's one of the reasons why, you know, it continues, Jamaica continues to do well. It continues to be placed as one of the top culinary destinations in the Caribbean. Now, we have a question for you, Nicola. Does the gastronomy strategy focus on only big business, or are small or medium-sized businesses be included? And I know
definitely
I can answer yes for that, but you can definitely go into that.
Definitely, we don't focus. Actually, we spend a lot of our time focusing on small business. For example, I give you the Pudding Man in St. Anne. We worked with the Jamaica Tourist Board to promote the authentic Jamaican sweet potato pudding and everything. That a video was made of his place that was showcased. We take travel agents there, we take tour operators, we take media. We definitely, and he has done phenomenally well. We work with other small operators, as I mentioned, street food vendors. We have done absolutely a lot of training and development of up-and-coming chefs, whether it's recipe writing, just introducing them to various products and services. We continue to do that also through the Jamaica Center for Tourism Innovation, where we have major programs in terms of helping culinarians to develop their talent and get certification so that they can continue to grow. We also work with EXIM and JBDC in terms of product development, and that comes through our Christmas in July program, where we work with persons who are doing sauces and jams and jellies and cookies and all sorts of different products, baked products, juices, you name it, and they showcase that, and we buy those things and feature them in our gift shops. We recently worked with JamPro to promote through their Export Max program, which is small and medium-sized producers, where we did pop-up kitchens, pop-up demonstrations within the hotels. We did, I think, 6 initially, showcasing their products, allowing the hotels to also figure out the chef how to use their products, but also being able to partner so that they were be able to have that for sale in the gift shop so visitors could also buy them. So we're constantly looking for ways to build the next generation. The big players, we work with them, yes, but they already are leading edge and going forward, but it's developing the next generation of gastronomy experiences and culinarians. So that is a major focus for us and something that we continue to do.
And I know one of Nicola's desires is to have a Michelin star street vendor.
Yes, because TLN has it, and I don't see why Jamaica shouldn't. Being recognized by the world in terms of our cuisine is very important to continue to grow the gastronomy experience. I think we underestimate the value of our food. There's a lot of indigenous products that can be found nowhere else in the world. There are ingredients that are very unique to Jamaica, but sometimes, we look outside of ourselves and we think, everything that comes from overseas must be at quality, but we can develop that quality here. And we have great stories to tell. Again, with gastronomy experience, it's all about authenticity. And we must now look and see how we continue to build out those experiences. As the success of Jerk should not be, just brushed aside. That one cooking method has championed an entire industry behind it. If you were to count the amount of restaurants and cook shops and that have opened up under the banner of Jerk. So if we have done, things like our escovitch fish, those sauces and spices that we use there, but there are other things that nobody knows about yet. And I keep saying to, anybody I talk to, somebody came up with the first recipe or the first cooking method. One person, maybe 2 or 3, maybe a small community to do jerk or to do ackee and saltfish or to do stew peas. That when it was created, it was a new thing. It wasn't traditional food yet. It wasn't historic to us. So every day, somebody who is sitting in their house could come up with the next new Jamaican cuisine that's going to be popularized and shared with the world. But we have to think that it's not just celebrating our traditional cuisine, which we have had all these many, many years, but what's the next level? And who is going to come up with that? And how do we popularize that? And how do we take that international?
Thanks, Nicola. And I know the culinary offerings are varied. I know for me, as a budding vegetarian, there are lots of options for vegans. So and these are small operators. Look at our Stush in the Bush that has just blossomed into this world-class, business.
Many, many options. And the whole ITIL movement, the vegan movement, that plant-based diet, that's something that's very popular. Jamaica has a lot of options for locals as well as international visitors. So we are not short of opportunity. What we need to do is package it a little bit better, which is where we come in, help to market, help people to imagine the new and go into the next level, to create those experiences for you to have. And definitely we're seeing that happening, but we need more of it.
Great, great. Excellent job by your network, Nicola. Thank you. Do we have any more questions for Nicola? I know she has to leave. She's actually getting ready to go off to Puerto Rico. Nicola is our president for the Caribbean Hotel and Tourist Association. So thank you very much, Nicola. Good. We now move into our next presentation, which will be done by the Sports and Entertainment Network. And that's chaired by Mr. Kamal Banki, who is a dynamic entrepreneur involved in the entertainment industry for the past 23 years. He has founded and developed the iconic brands such as Ribis Group, Dream Weekend, Major Laser Festivals, and Exodus Carnival that have gained regional and global appeal. Kamal is significantly focused on social and environmentally sustainable development to move the Caribbean to be globally competitive. He has the responsibility in the public sector where he serves and chairs on a few government boards. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Management Studies from the University of the West Indies. He's chairman and co-founder of Dream Entertainment, which has been in existence since 2009. He's the director and co-founder of Ribis Group since 2013. He's our chairman of the Sports and Entertainment Network in the Tourism Linkages Network of the TEF. He's chairman of Carnival in Jamaica since 2017, a member of the Entertainment Advisory Board since 2016, and he is a council member of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association since 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, chairman of the Sports and Entertainment Network, Mr. Kamal Banki.
Good morning, everybody, and thanks so much, Chairman Robinson. I really loved and appreciated Nicola's presentation. It starts to highlight a lot of the good that we're doing to, just generally promote linkages. And for me, sports and entertainment is something that's linked to almost every area and facet of Jamaican society in one way or the other, from agriculture, everything that we eat and grow, from what we use and consume in an event, from your beer and your rum and your food and those kinds of things. It's all coming from the agricultural sector. And there's so many other linkages that, we could speak about. But for me, I think what's super important is that we understand where we are, from a pre and post pandemic standpoint. We lost something that we didn't believe we could lose, which was, our freedom to gather. And of course, what this reminded us of is that, primarily we are humans that are social creatures. And that went against, the whole ethos of sports and entertainment, which is just based on gathering and people coming together and enjoying sporting events together and entertainment events together. So we were essentially forced to adapt to that. And, we went through this timeline of, how are we going to move forward, stop and start, and is it finished? Is it not finished? And, one of the things that we came out of the pandemic saying is that the only uncertainty is certain. So we honestly don't know what tomorrow will bring and how it will affect us. This puts us essentially in a state of flux that, we have to be mindful of every day as we go about what we do and ply our trade in the sports and entertainment world. And also from the consumers, how you want to consume sports and entertainment. This is important. So, when the pandemic hit, we were, very quick to find some substitutes for our lack of in-person socialization. Hangouts, Clubhouse, Zoom, family meetings, and all of these things became important. DJs going live and virtual versus became temporary crutches for us to get our fix of entertainment. Sporting events were played without crowds. And obviously TV crews to produce, television shows and movies had to kind of bubble together to get the content out. Now that we're forced to adapt, this is what we've learned coming out of all of this. People have learned to survive without entertainment because essentially we're forced to. So that's something that we also have to contemplate, that, a lot of persons coming into their own zone in the entertainment and sports world, they essentially may have come of age or started their age of going out in a world where hanging out at the bar or hanging out in a nightclub was not commonplace. That's not how you enjoy yourself. So we also have to be cognizant that, you know, we learned the hard truth that a great night out or seeing a sporting event live are not irrevocable rights. There are luxuries that we are afforded. So the question now becomes, how do we make the most of a post-pandemic world? Now, the first thing for any practitioner, we have to remember that our mitigation plans for risk must be more robust. We have to consider more things. We have to consider planning and execution of this, in a very wholesome, fulsome way. And the bigger that your event is the more regulatory oversight that actually will come. And most importantly, everything that we do, because we're all interconnected human beings, it affects everyone else. So whether it be people in your household, the people that you interact with, you know, at the gas station or in the food places or whatever, every single thing that you do, every choice you make, whether you choose to be out and about or at home or whatever, it affects everybody else because we're all interconnected. So the diversified income streams are super important for persons now, just so that because we were one of the industry shutdown, you know, persons who, you know, were involved in round robins and street dances to, you know, have some form of income, or persons who are formally employed in the production sectors, music sectors, and so on and so forth, that actually produce medium and large style festivals and concerts, people who are involved in producing sporting events, from security personnel, DJs, lighting tech, production people. All these people were without a job, and we have to be very aware that this is where, you know, our rights as persons to gather and what we like to do are intertwined with persons' livelihoods, right? So when saying all of this, we move to a place now where all of these people are trying to integrate diversified income streams in their events, which things like live streaming and selling TV rights to your events and activities are essentially now commonplace, because persons may have a trepidation to visit in person. But the reality is that if you make your live experience next level, and it, you know, there's a sense of FOMO, you know, fear of missing out, this is something that will engender entertainment tourism, destination tourism, where people, you know, from all around the world or even all around your country will come to attend something, because obviously it's so next level, it's so incredible, and it's a once in a lifetime experience that essentially they will refuse to miss it. And that's what we have to contemplate as the practitioners who are trying to make sense in this world post-pandemic, and ensure that our product that we put out there is world-class and people do not want to miss it. So that's the backdrop for where we are in an industry. And I want to kind of switch gears to kind of tell everybody, like, how does our network, the Sports and Entertainment Network, support all of this? So in 2017, we actually created the brand name Carnival in Jamaica, which brought all the stakeholders of Carnival together, and we were able to create a large carnival under one umbrella that would, you know, essentially engender seasonal travel with a large value proposition for people coming from all over the world. It was one brand name marketed by the Ministry of Tourism jointly with the Ministry of Culture, Entertainment, Sports, and Gender, that would essentially combine soca fetes with nightly dancehall parties, tours and attractions all around Kingston, food experiences, Lime Key tours, Bob Marley Museum tours, Blue Mountain Coffee tours, and essentially any kind of, you know, tour attraction that you could think of, whether it is something on the North Coast or, you know, a hike or so on and so forth. So we were able to build this robust platform that had all of these add-ons that created this unique experience for Carnival when people came. And of course, when we started in 2017 till right before the pandemic, in 2019, which was the last one we had pre-pandemic, we're able to quadruple the size of our carnival, road parade, and spectatorship, which is an incredible feat. And of course, we became the fastest growing carnival in the Caribbean. Obviously, we're going to head back on that trajectory. We staged a makeup carnival in July, which was very, very welcome to persons who have been really looking forward to that experience since 2019. And of course, the big road parade and all the fetes and all the calendars of events are going to be back in April 2023. And the question is, how could you miss it? Top Events, which is our umbrella marketing program, that's kind of housed here in sports and entertainment, but seeks to create this monthly calendar that supports all of the networks within, the Linkages Council, that essentially collates and aggregates everything that is happening from small, medium, and large activities every single month of the year. So whether it is a street dance, whether it is a Sumfest or a Dream Weekend, a carnival event, whether it is the food awards that's happening tonight, or, Calabash, a literary festival on the South Coast, we catalog these events, we push them out, every month, and we push these out to the tourism industry, to the tourists, so that they can answer a very important question. What is there to do today or tonight in Jamaica, no matter which town they're in? We've also developed something called the DJ Academy, and the DJ Academy has been hugely successful. We've trained maybe about 300 participants since we developed it in 2017, where we essentially have been able to bring in existing DJs and entertainment coordinators that work within the hotels currently, and upskill them in terms of having them have more of a world-class training program. I mean, there's no formal DJ training program anywhere in Jamaica, so persons kind of learn by apprenticing and, of course, YouTube. And we're able to essentially give people the opportunity to learn from some of the greats, and how do people present music for the tourism industry that retains our local culture, but it is packaged in a way that's very palatable for the international guest. And we've been hugely successful. We've graduated somewhere around 300 people from that program, and it's an ongoing process that we will continue to do as long as we have DJs that are up and coming. We'll continue to train them. This lifts the overall quality of entertainment in our hotels, and essentially raises the brand value of our tourism industry by creating better moments for people when they come on holiday. We of course enhance sporting events by assisting with marketing through Top Events, and also including entertainment packages within these sporting events to create a more dynamic package for the sporting enthusiast, bringing some entertainment people there. We think that this is important for persons who are looking for this fulsome, experience all around the world. We understand that, sports entertainment is how they define entertainment. The NFL halftime show is one of the biggest entertainment events in the world, but it happens within a sporting event. And we see this as a perfect marriage, where we're going to be starting to do more marrying of sports and entertainment in the events. And we also have a program called Superstar, where within gastronomy, sports, entertainment, we're highlighting some of the best Jamaicans who produce world-class products. They're telling their story about how they got to where they are, and of course, the methodology of their craft as much as they will let on. We're documenting this, and we will be able to showcase this for persons locally and internationally to have a feel of who we are culturally as a people and what makes us great. Because we think, and we know that Jamaicans are the greatest in especially certain disciplines, and sports, entertainment, and food are some of the things that we are the greatest in and recognized so in the world. So I surmise by saying we have ongoing programs, we have new directions that we're going into, and we're going to look through the lens of the post-pandemic world to make the most of it, to make life-changing experiences so that persons will feel the undoubtable need to come to our wonderful country and experience a Jamaican street party, to experience a Jamaican food festival, to experience a live concert like a Sumfest, a party like a Dream Weekend, a literary festival where all the world has eyes on. And this is our goal, this is our aim, and we hope to help everybody in the industry by upskilling them and giving them resources, and also facilitating conversations with government and regulatory bodies, which is something very important that we do, to break that barrier, cut through red tape, to ensure that persons are able to actually access the government services and licensings and those kinds of things that they need to get done so they can actually put on a successful event. Thank you so much for having me, Chairman, and we look forward to any questions that may come.
No, thank you, Kamal. Thank you for all the work that you have done. We've seen since the pandemic has eased, we've seen you have hosted a successful carnival in Jamaica, and subsequent to that, the Dream Weekend in the Grill. So people have, there's just this pent-up energy for entertainment. As you rightfully said, we're social beings and we want to get out there, we want to have a good time. And there's no reason why Jamaica shouldn't be known as the #1 festival and events capital of the Caribbean, and if not, the world. Jamaica has a lot to offer, and it's varied. All the various offerings, from your street side festivals to your more elaborate organized festivals. But thank you. I think we have a question. What type of support does the TLN provide to Carnival in Jamaica? Are you a sponsor?
Very, very good question. So essentially, the linkages network, through our sports and entertainment network, Carnival in Jamaica is a subset of the sports and entertainment network. So essentially what happens is that we oversee, from a marketing standpoint, the marketing of the brand Carnival in Jamaica. We essentially push out all the communication on social media channels and content marketing for the brand Carnival in Jamaica, as well as each of the individual fetes, parties, road march bands, so on and so forth, to drive demand directly to them, as well as supporting them with certain logistics in terms of security and cleanup and those kinds of things on the road, to help to, and we subsidize those costs, so that essentially persons who are putting on these events do not have to, have some of these embedded, baked-in costs within their experience, to try and keep the nominal price of attending them reasonable by global standards. So Carnival in Jamaica does receive wholesome support from Sports and Entertainment Network.
Thank you very much for that explanation, Kamal. Do we have any questions? Any other questions? No, if we don't, I would like to thank you, Kamal. I know you have a board meeting that you have to run to, but thank you for joining us and highlighting all the outstanding work that you and your committee are doing in the sports and entertainment. And we look forward to, as we come out of the pandemic, to revel and have some more good times. So thank you.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks, Kamal. Next, we move into our third presentation, and that will be done by Mr. Kyle Mays, who is the Managing Director of the Jamaica Inn, recognized as one of the Caribbean's leading luxury boutique hotels. Mr. Mays brings to the table nearly 3 decades of extensive hospitality management experience in all aspects of both large and small resort operations. Prior to joining Jamaica Inn, Mr. Mays worked at several renowned properties around the Caribbean, including the Grand Lido Hotel, Strawberry Hill Hotel, Couple Sans Souci, and Sandals Emerald Bay, just to name a few. An experienced businessman, he also spent several years as an entrepreneur down under, as the owner of First Mobile, a successful Vodafone-aligned telecommunications company in Auckland, New Zealand. An advocate for sustainability, he believes strongly in investing in people first and foremost, and green or alternative energy technologies and best practices. By doing so, Mays has been successful in reducing both operational overheads and the carbon footprint of properties he has managed while providing exceptional service and offerings. As a director of the hotel's philanthropic arm, the Jamaica Inn Foundation, he works to support the local community by investing in projects that focus on education, community, and the environment. Driven by the growing concern surrounding global warming and other environmental threats, he was instrumental in the establishment of the White River Fish Sanctuary, where he currently serves as a director. The White River Fish Sanctuary is a community-based partnership designed to help revive the local fisherfolk's livelihoods and protect one of Jamaica's biggest natural resources. Always willing to serve, Mr. Mays is the chairman of the TLN's Tourism, Health and Wellness Linkage Network, the chairman of the Caribbean Alliance for Sustainable Tourism, and the chairman of the Environment and Sustainability Committee of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association. A Campion College graduate, he is also a graduate of the Bishop's University in Quebec, Canada, where he earned an undergraduate degree in economics, followed by an MBA by Massey University in Auckland, New Zealand. A health and wellness junkie, Mr. Mays is an avid diver and swimmer who loves to indulge in spa and other wellness therapies. He's a proud father of 4 amazing children. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kyle Mays, chairman of our Health and Wellness Network.
Thank you, Omar. I'm glad you picked up. That wasn't a typo.
I know.
Yeah, it's great to be with you all today. Thank you for having me on. It's beautiful day over here in Ocho. I hope everybody is been out and done their half an hour to 45 minutes worth of exercise this morning and moving and making sure that we have to keep our immune system bolstered and boosted. I'm about to go for a swim, as you can tell. I hope I'm on and we're hearing me. But yeah, great, really great to be here with you. So as we enter into this new normal after the global pandemic, now one thing has become very clear to all of us, and that health and wellness is at the forefront of our visitors' minds. And when we think of health and wellness, for the purpose of today, I needed to try and separate the topic of the medical or medicine sector just for the moment. But don't get me wrong, they're very intertwined, and especially since the pandemic. And even I struggle sometimes to separate them depending on the conversation or the audience. But in my view, self-care is actually going to be overtaking the sick care system in Jamaica, around the world probably, So even before the pandemic, health and wellness was a rising trend and a fast-growing industry, as we've been hearing and seeing, hopefully. And while the pandemic certainly put a pause on wellness travel and all travel, really, for that matter, didn't matter. Nobody was sacred. The recovery is projected to be very swift and very, very strong. And there's going to be a whole renewed energy around this topic of health and wellness, which is very exciting for us, for Jamaica, for our practitioners, for our stakeholders. And so it's helpful at this point maybe to look at the trajectory of wellness and before going into some of the features and the future and post pandemic. But let's see what's driving this momentum and what's happening. So before the pandemic, according to the Global Wellness Institute, wellness travel was a $720 billion market in 2019. Of course, it dipped, through 20 and 21. However, it's projected to recover one of the fastest sectors by 20% in the next by 2025. Yeah, so the next three years, and it's going to reach a figure of $1.1 trillion. I'm obviously talking about US dollars here, right, folks? So where are we? What can we do to take advantage of that market in our situation here in Jamaica? So the recent pandemic highlighted that healthy individuals were less impacted overall than those with comorbidities. So individuals that had compromised autoimmune systems, those that were challenged with obesity and other chronic illnesses, they were more widely impacted and had more severe symptoms, and they ended up in hospital and higher rates of death. I hate looking backwards and reminiscing about all of this, but it's important, right? Especially because of where we're going. And so this was a big wake-up call and has led to a more urgent drive to incorporate wellness into our lifestyles. It's a must. It has to be done. And it's no longer just a one-time diet or some, trying to just get a little bit more exercise or, some fad. It really has to become intertwined and part of our lives. And this is what we're seeing. So destinations such as Jamaica hotels, businesses that focus on health and wellness as an organic component of the visitor experience will continue to grow and expand and take advantage of that $1.1 trillion I mentioned earlier. So health and wellness is much more these days rather than offering of a traditional massage or just throwing in a weekly yoga class. We have to now lift our game and look at how it's intertwined with all aspects of our lives, or whether it is we're connected, as Banky had said, and we're going to hear some elements of what Nicola had presented earlier, but it's all intertwined these days, and so how are we going to ensure that that's solidified? Because travelers are just getting more savvy and they just want to achieve more from their trips, from their holidays, their vacation. And it's no longer, trust me, just coming to Jamaica and for just the culture alone, or a pretty beach, for example, as you see in the background, and having a rum punch or anything. It's just escalated. The whole realm of our visitors' thinking has changed. And the key to success in the current wellness travel atmosphere is back to that word that was mentioned a couple of times already, and that's authenticity. So we need to feature the products and services and activities that complement our beautiful island and the history of our island or even the town, the city where we are. So it really just helps lend some credibility and a feeling of genuineness that the travelers can understand and sift through and get it. They can get it very easily, understand it. So the newest wellness trends are, let's talk about those a minute, because they're quite interesting, and we need to see where the specialists are thinking this whole topic is going. And it's quite a blend. It's quite a blend of technology, and some state-of-the-art technology, as well as some ancient and traditional healings to create new experiences that transform the mind and the body and the soul. So it allows visitors to return from vacation with more insight and direction toward their overall wellness goals. Remember, wellness now is not just about the body. It's not just about losing weight. So to fully understand and how the industry is going forward and how we're going to put this into action and what we can do as an island and how the linkages network can help our practitioners. Let's look at some of these wellness trends, and some of them are quite interesting. Or going to kick off with the first trend is called dirty wellness. And you wonder, dirty wellness. What is this all about? It's very that's very awkward or novel or new. Well, dirty wellness is actually one of the number one trends listed by the Global Wellness Institute for the future, the next few years, and it focuses. So what it does, it focuses on the health of the world's soil, and yes, literally the dirt, and the impact that soil exposure has on human health, and that's becoming a trend. That folks are thinking about these things now. The environment, health of the environment, and how they're impacting on that, and how we can use that in our offerings. And you can see that playing out around the world in different ways. Just to give you a little idea or an understanding. So, for example, there are things such as volcanic sand baths. Looking at our example here at the hotel, you can have your gardening classes or gardening tours. Not a new trend, but for example, foraging. Walking on trails, and we have some fantastic facilities here in Jamaica. And when it comes to, as I think of it now, for example, Bath Springs over in St. Thomas, Bath St. Thomas. And you think of the treatments that you're seeing has become popular along the Bath River there, where you're using the thermal water heats the soil, the sand, and it's used to bathe visitors. And so there's one application there that we're not really doing a great job promoting to the world. It's such a unique opportunity. So, dirty wellness, immune health overall, so immunity, and we're talking about here. So, wellness from the inside and then inside out, and it's the number one trend according to the Mind and Body Online.com group. And this is just a logical continuation of a pre-pandemic trend that focused on gut health, microbiomes, and prebiotics. And it's about achieving a healthy immune system, coming from taking a holistic approach to wellness, and includes healthy nutrition, regular exercise, ample sleep, reducing stress, and all those very important things that we need in our everyday life, and have become we become more aware of it, and because of what we've been through over the last couple of years. So that one is a very easier to understand. There's some other interesting ones I'll try and take us through quickly, but sound healing is another one. Sound healing is taking the world by storm. This includes crystal chakra bowls and classes such as this is an interesting name I saw, Gong with the Wind. The gong with the wind. So playing the gong and restorative yoga using gong sounds and sound baths with vibrational sound therapies. Really very, very popular these days, and we're seeing more practitioners learning the trade, and we want to try and help our practitioners to understand this and include this in their service offerings. In fact, during our World Wellness Day programming, which is one of the linkages, main activities for the year, is just to illustrate and demonstrate what wonderful practitioners and facilities that we have here on the island. We had Buja Barucha. She demonstrated the sound bowl healing while we went just as one of our featured activities. So that was really interesting to see. Revitalizing walks. I mean, gosh, it seems so basic, but it is one of the top trends for Vogue, or as featured by Vogue, and it's taking a different twist and different turn, but it has grown in popularity because, again, out of the pandemic, and we're trying to find more ways to get outside and enjoy nature and get some exercise while we couldn't go to the gyms. Remember, that was a huge no. So in our situation, visiting trails, we have some amazing trails in Jamaica, and in fact, one of the projects we're working on now is identifying these amazing assets that we have, and one of them being trails and our mountain walks and the hikes, and putting them into an easily accessible document online on our website, in a beautiful glossy magazine that all our visitors can receive when they come to visit Jamaica. So this is something as basic as it is that really is very, very hot. It's a hot topic. It's hot. Folks want to do this these days, and it's called, to make a fancy word of it or use a fancy term, it's called forest bathing. So you're bathing in nature and soaking it in, and how that impacts us, our mental or soul. Very, very important. And as I mentioned, nature. What has happened since and through COVID, health has become inextricably bound up with nature. So our visitors and just folks in general are wanting to restore nature and make, when they go on vacation, they want to try and improve the situation, when it comes to the country, the community, and make it and try and make it a better place rather than impacting on it. How can they restore it or regenerate it? So it's a whole new movement with this new era post-COVID. Technology is obviously going to be there. Wellness technology. We have, you think it might be, could it be a friend or a foe? But in the wellness world, it's blossoming because there's new technologies that help you guide you through, like apps that guide you through your wellness goals, and it's easily customized based on your DNA, even if you want to go that far. But you have some new terms such as biotechnology or precision nutrition, so customizable. It's your workouts are app-based, et cetera, et cetera, So, but of course, technology in wellness doesn't stop just with that nutrition side. There's some wellness-focused properties, which include technologies in their, for example, in their fitness, in their gyms, as well as mindful offerings. This is also where, by the way, wellness enters the metaverse, which is everybody is talking about the metaverse these days. But anyway, that's a whole new story. We won't get too deep into that for the moment. But wellness travel, right? That's what we're really talking about here, and you can previously describe wellness travel as mindless. We're talking mindful. It was mindless because it was predominantly just focused on the physical, on your looks, your muscles, your this. Now travel is more mindful. I've given you some examples before, but it's really because travelers are now focused on personal growth, on feeding their minds, and how they're impacting on the environment. All these things are coming into. They want new experiences, such as farm, like going on a farm retreat, or they want to come and help plant coral reefs. We see that happening here in Oteresa with our fish sanctuary that we have being developed, and it's happening more and more across the Caribbean, or going and planting mangrove trees. So while they're on holiday, they don't mind even working with scientists to go into communities. The whole realm of again, regenerative. How can they improve? How can they leave a destination where they've gone to better than it was before, or at least not impact on it? You talk about the carbon footprint and all of these new not trends. It's because these are must do's when it comes to the environment, and we have got to reduce our footprints, our emissions, and so on, carbon emissions. And hotels and companies are working very hard on reducing those sort of things. But for another example would be Indigenous Travel, which is very hot these days as well. And you've also may have heard of packing for purpose. So when they're going to certain countries, islands, such as that, visitors want to bring things that maybe they can use this. They can donate to schools, books and supplies and these type of things. So all of this is now very much intertwined on top of the mind for our travel. So just to wrap up this segment, at the end of the day, travelers are just looking for thoughtful programming, which will enhance their whole newfound wellness lifestyle. And it has just shifted, a paradigm shift. They've matured. Wellness consumers have matured, and they're more reflective. They're sober thinking. They're selfless. It's all about others as well, because they've learned that we're all in this together. Person next to them affects them. They affect us. So it's all this inclusiveness, and so they're serious about it at the end of the day, and so they're seeking to find, again, those authentic experiences that truly make an impact on their lifestyles and their goals. Like I said, they've grown up, and they're much more environmentally conscious. Weight loss is out, but mental health is in. Is really one way to look at it. Also, travelers will see through all these, the old-time, half-hearted attempts to continue to see, and they will continue to seek an experience that truly enlightens their wellness journey. And so, going forward, we as a network will be working closely with our stakeholders, our partners, or our entities here, or assets to develop strategies that will complement what the new travelers are seeking, and basically just support what a lot of what we've heard and have mentioned today. How are we doing for time there?
Kyle, we're doing good. Are you done?
Well, I could keep going. I could start. I could tell you. We have a couple. We have quite a few. What I call our main projects for the year. That including our conference, which is coming up, which we use to again disseminate a lot of this information to our practitioners, to bring to enlighten, to share best practices.
And that's in November, Kyle?
That's in November. That's one of our main features on our calendar. I mentioned to you about our project at the moment that we're working on, which when it comes down to our trails, but we also want to include in that parks and beaches. Not the hotel beaches or the typical the beaches we all know about, but those off the beaten path. And so we're going to be finalizing that project and launching it in November at our conference. So that would be exciting. Not really getting. It's more we're looking at ways of allowing our travelers or potential visitors to Jamaica to have easier access to a lot of our practitioners, a lot of our stakeholders through a redesign and development of our website, wellnessinjamaica.com, wellnessja.com, right, to be specific. And that's a big project that we're excited about because it will really mean it'll really be a tool for in many ways for our partners and so on. Again, we'd love to keep going. But maybe there's some questions.
Kyle, I have a question for you, Kyle. Does the network strategy include working with small businesses and specific communities known for their authentic wellness experiences?
Absolutely. We have participated in numerous festivals. The maroon festivals are going into maroon villages when they're having their festivals and supporting them. Again, remember, visitors are looking for in travel these days these type of indigenous experiences, and so we want to expose all of these fabulous assets and or people or culture. It's all entwined in health and wellness these days. It's because it's about the mind. It's about improving our holistic. It's quite fascinating. But yes, so and there are many other examples. So when it's more specific items such as working with our spa practitioners in ways of creating their own in-house treatments or products, so it's the science side of things. We work on that as well, and developing new products that the standards of. So it's really a standards-based assistance as well. For small businesses. We did a spa manual as well. Talking about spas a bit here, but it's a big part of our network. COVID, at the time of COVID, was at its height. safety manuals and so on for those smaller, the bigger properties and, in hotels with spas, they tend to have these manuals and have their protocols and procedures in place. But so really what we're doing is focusing more on the smaller operations around the island, and there are many.
Yes, thanks, Kyle. I know that the typical health and wellness traveler wants these unique options. They want these unique experiences where they can really, indulge in what the local environment has to offer. So, and I know a lot of our small properties, a lot of our small and medium-sized tourism entities offer a lot of those products. I for one have seen a lot of those spa products being showcased at our Christmas in July program, which is an annual program to highlight small and medium-sized tourism entities within, that can move, create these linkages between tourism and their businesses. So we encourage all our small entities to get involved whenever they see those opportunities.
Absolutely.
If there are no more questions for Kyle, we look forward to you hosting us at your network conference, which is in November, and I'm sure the Tourism Linkages Network will send out more information on that. So look forward to that. Make it a calendar event in November. That's the Health and Wellness, the annual Health and Wellness conference. So thank you very much, Kyle. We move on to our final presenter, who is Mrs. Lisa Simone Bell. She is the Managing Director of the National Export-Import Bank of Jamaica, and she was appointed Managing Director in 2010. In this role, she leads a team responsible for the overall management, business development, loan financing, and general operations of the bank, ensuring that EXIM delivers on its mandate to promote sustainable economic growth and development for Jamaica's exporters and potential exporters. Mrs. Bell boasts over 20 years' experience in providing financial, analytical, project, and general management experience in both the private and public sectors. She has held key managerial positions in the financial services sector and within the public sector. Along with her stellar management performance, she has a wealth of knowledge in credit and financial services, especially as it relates to the SMEs and the export sector. She also sits on the board of the Jamaica International Finance Services Authority, JIFSA. Prior to joining EXIM Bank, Mrs. Bell held the position of Deputy President of the Jamaica Trade and Invest, JAMPRO, where she contributed over 8 years of service to the National Investment and Export Agency. Before joining JAMPRO, she served as Deputy General Manager and General Manager of Alpha Financial Services Limited and Victoria Mutual Investments Limited, respectively. Mrs. Bell also worked overseas with both Anderson Consulting and the City of Miami Department of Management and Budget after completing her formal education. Upon her return to Jamaica, she served as Corporate Credit Manager for Citizens Bank Jamaica Limited. Throughout her career, she has demonstrated strong and innovative leadership skills and a commitment to exceed expectations. She holds a Master of Business Administration and MBA with a specialization in finance, and also a Bachelor's of Business Administration from the University of Miami, Florida, USA. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Lisa Bell, Managing Director of National Export-Import Bank, EXIM Bank of Jamaica, who is a strategic partner with the Tourism Enhancement Fund. Lisa?
Omar, when I hear that, good afternoon, everyone. When I hear that, it would have been simple to say, overworked, underpaid civil servant.
who gladly comes to work to serve, to create.
Who loves our country and is clearly a patriot. Good afternoon, everyone. I know I'm bringing up the rear, but as my role has always been to support the other networks. As we all know, finance is critical to make any engine work. So some time ago, now 37 years ago, the National Export-Import Bank of Jamaica, what we call EXIM, for in short, was established to support the export sector. And as we know, tourism is designated as an export sector simply because it earns foreign exchange. So it has always been a part of our mandate. So my presentation today is going to focus around what we have done, what we are doing, and what we will continue to do in the future, given the importance of this sector to the economy. EXIM, as I said, has been here for 37 years. We're approaching 37 years, and we were created to focus on specific sectors that have the potential for moving the economy forward. So whether it be tourism or manufacturing or agro-processing or even creative industries, it was the government's way of focusing in on particularly small and medium enterprises and unlocking the growth potential in those sectors. To that extent, we have continued working as a development banking institution, very different from a commercial bank. We take more risk, and you may ask a question, how are you different? And it is because as a development finance institution, we recognize that SMEs carry more risk. However, if they do have potential and are part of the economic development program, then they are important to us. So to that extent, EXIM works to close the gap in terms of assisting SMEs in their ability to access appropriate finance. As I said, the sectors that we have looked at throughout the years span the entire productive sector. We've supported manufacturing, the subsectors in manufacturing, like agro-processing, tourism and linkages, and I'll speak about that a little bit more. The linkage part of that and why I'm a part of this very esteemed group of people trying to move forward in moving the tourism product forward. In mining, in creative industries, in ICT and technology, and in fact, the services sector, which as we know, makes up over 70% of our economy. What do? We try to look at the things that will help our company move forward. These things on the screen really just speak to how does a SME or someone operating in the tourism value chain, what do they need? It will be on the short end in terms of short-term financing. How do you finance your receivables? Particularly has become even more important in recent times. How do we help you get the equipment so that you can manufacture, so you can provide a good and service that you know that the hotel sector needs? Provide working capital support. Pre and post shipment, meaning if you are engaged in pre is a nice way of saying, what do you need in order to get this product done, whether it be a product or a service? And how can we help you do that? And post shipment really means how can I finance you or provide support to you while you're waiting to get paid? We also provide long-term or what we call medium-term lending, and traditionally up to about between 5 and 7 years, because we also recognize in order to improve the capacity of this sector, many times entities need retooling or upgrading of their facilities. And in the context of the tourism product, that becomes critical for all the reasons Kyle said. So the next consideration is, what have we done for the tourism sector? As I said, it has been an area of focus for the bank for many, many years. And this has been, and I will tell you a little story. I tell people this story all the time. Maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, despite the support that we've been giving to the sector, our esteemed Minister Bartlett picked up the phone and called me. And he said, Lisa, I need for you to work on a program to support small and medium-sized enterprises. This must be our focus if we're actually going to grow the economy. So I will provide the money, you get the money into the hands of the people who need it, and support the 5 the 5 networks within the Tourism Linkages Network. So I actually sit on the council. I sit on the council, and my job is to provide support to the networks as they execute their programs, and to provide support to the entities that will allow them to execute their programs. So as I said, I sit on the council. Exim is very active on the council in trying to report on the progress of the program. Some years ago, some of you know, during the COVID period, there was a tourism grant program in which Exim facilitated the disbursement of some $266 million in grant money to over 80 tourism SMTEs over the period of the COVID. And even up till now, we are still continuing to provide relief, holidays, payment holidays. I think for the entire portfolio of SMT loans enjoyed both what we call moratoria, which means a suspension of payments on both principal and interest for about 2 years. And that is because we recognize the importance of providing the needed support to ensure that the tourism sector recovered. Tourism is one of those sectors that has been deemed what we call a V industry. V because it goes down, but it has a potential to rebound very quickly. And we've been blessed and very gracious, and through the efforts of the Ministry of Tourism, the Minister and the Ministry and private and public sector stakeholders, to ensure that we manage this COVID pandemic in the best possible way. And we're actually ahead in terms of rebounding. Omar, am I right? Rebounding against some of our Caribbean and in fact our international neighbors. Yes, and that is partially because we were able to provide support to those entities during the period. And of course, providing access to finance, relief in this financial area when companies are struggling became critical. And I won't go over this slide, but just to say, during the period, we provided relief to, I think, let me go back a second, of $973 million between 20 and 2022 in terms of relief or recovery or restructuring of loans. We will continue to give access to all our clients outside of tourism to all the other products. And this slide just highlights some of the other things we're doing. I mean, interestingly, we just 2 days ago launched our e-commerce product. And that e-commerce product is designed to help small and medium-sized enterprises become e-ready. The internet and internet shopping and internet maneuvering that space is a new frontier for selling goods and services. And we want to make sure whether you are manufacturing to support tourism or you're an attraction, trying to get your products sold in the international marketplace so that tourists can visit it upon arrival, you have to have an e-commerce strategy. And this loan is designed at very low rates, in fact, 4.75% in order to support. So there are a number of different programs that we have, and I mean, it would be impossible for me to go through all of them with you online, but certainly encourage you to visit our website to see them. But now I'm going to, and this is just some of our clients that we've given. I mean, Exim has serviced over 3,000 clients in its history, but the truth is that they really are range from small accommodations right through to those who are providing services to those accommodations. But let me speak a little bit about the SMTE loan, which is what I think you should want to hear about. This particular loan is a product of the Tourism Linkages Network and is designed to provide support, as I said, to the networks. It has been in place for some time ago, started out at $1 billion, which was given to Exim Bank to channel in this area. And to date, we've lent approximately 1.64 billion. You ask me how I get 1.64? Simply because the reflows have allowed us to continue to lend money. So as we lend and we pay back when we channel it back into other loans. So we've been able to lend 1.64 billion, and that little part in the bottom, which I'll come back to at the back, at the end, please pay note to. We still have 680 million available for on-lending. Let me say that again. As we move into the winter tourist season, we still have $680 million available at 4.5% to a maximum of $25 million available to support this sector. Who can get it? any one of the networks, as long as you can show us that you earn 25% of your revenues come from tourism receipts. So it can be an accommodation, a small hotel in Negril, or it can be an attraction that is going to try and retool in order to prepare for the tourist season. It can be, if you're in the gastronomy, all of those areas that Nicola spoke about earlier, that would be eligible. If you're in transportation, we'll still look at it in the context of how we can help to support what we hope to be a new slew of tourists coming to our island. Manufacturing, of course, if you manufacture a good that is used or sold to the tourism sector, you are eligible for this financing. If you provide a service to the tourism sector, you are eligible. Outside of those, we also look at all kinds of linkages, because the tourism value chain is so big and so many elements go into supporting it. Anybody who is a linkage is eligible for these funds. Shopping and duty free, that is another area, one of our networks. I don't think we spoke about it today, but that's also important. And I have also a Carnival, Getaway Spa and Wellness is also an area of focus for us. As I said, we've lent over 1.62 billion. And this slide just indicates the percentages that we have gone to each area. I am a big proponent of getting this money out, and so as Minister Bartlett charged me to do. So I'm encouraging you, come and let us hear what your proposal is and see if we can provide you with some support. As I said, the rate is 4.5%. These are short-term revolving loans of up to 180 days to repay. We have medium-term loans, which are up to 7 years to repay. In many cases, we give you 12 months moratorium. Moratorium simply meaning that you won't need to pay the principal. You'll particularly if you're implementing doing capital purchases or equipment, we certainly will consider those moratoria on principal. As I said, the loan is between $5 and $25 million. Certainly, if your project is bigger than 25 million, we're considering blending other funds that we have in order to support you in the project. And as I said who it is, it really is open to any entity who can meet the threshold of 25% of their revenues going to the tourism sector. When we talk about it, and I know I may sound like I'm making a pitch, but the truth is I am, because I really want to indicate how appropriate it is. And how we do that is by telling you what our clients have said. You know, many of our clients have used this loan to achieve significant growth. And I think I have here, and this is a ridiculous picture of me, and I will never use it again. But this is one of our clients, Jam West, and in working with this client, we're able, some of you may know it's an attraction in the southern part of the country, and really a world-class attraction. But the truth is that in order to make it a world-class attraction, he needed funding in order to transform the space. And here's his quote. He had a dream about owning a racing track. He actually converted the track into a space where he could use it as an attraction and built it out to be a world-class attraction. And he has benefited from our funds. Other entities have also benefited from our funds. This is Kelly's Water Sports, which is now coming back online. We provided funding to allow them to acquire 3 boats. They were providing water tours and scuba diving for clients in Montego Bay. It's a client we've been working with for a long time, and we have been holding their hands, trying to get them back to viability and to thrive post-pandemic. But the truth is until you hear these stories about, and I take great pride in watching our entity thrive in this sector. So I'm wrapping up again, Omar, and open for questions and answers. But again, as I say, we are here. EXIM is here to support the tourism sector and by extension, the tourism linkages network. We want to rebound strong. We want to build back better. And one way we are playing our part by ensuring that you can have the funding needed to execute. So thank you, Omar.
Thanks a lot, Lisa. And thank you for lending over $1.6 billion to small and medium-sized tourism entities over the years. And I know, for all those persons who small and medium-sized entities who want to access funding, 4.5% is at probably the lowest that you
it get. It is the lowest rate in the market. It actually is.
Right. And I know that's up to $25 million. And you can be any one of the supporting sectors as long as you can show that 25% of your revenues come directly from tourism. So that's a great opportunity. And I know even outside of this funding arrangement, through the Exim Bank offers additional funding that persons can get. So if the 25 million is not enough, you can do a joint a combination of both the 25.
We call a blending of your funds. Blended, right.
Exactly. So thank you, Lisa. I have a question for you.
Sure.
It says, historically, it has been hard for SMEs to meet the requirements for financing. Is the Exim facility more flexible? What does the application process involve for SMTE loans?
We tend to be a lot more flexible than a commercial bank would be because we're not regulated in the same way as a commercial bank. But we do want to see viable project proposals. We do want to see that you have some sort of collateral that can be put in place. But we are flexible in the kinds of collateral we will take, as well as in terms of the process. We recognize some of the constraints that SMEs particularly have faced over the last year. So, in other words, if you don't have your audited financials, we have taken a decision at the policy level that we may look at your management accounts or your bank statements. And it is just trying to recognize that the risk has increased. And 2 years, many entities did not have revenues. And therefore, even the traditional approaches to assessing risk have to change. And to that extent, because we've been in this business for so long, we understand some of the needs of SMEs and have tried to adjust our adjudication practices accordingly.
Thank you very much, Lisa. So you see, it's an easy process. It's easier than the traditional financial arrangements through the traditional banking sector. So we implore all our small and medium-sized tourism entities to take advantage of this 4.5% loan arrangement, this facility being offered through the Exim Bank by the Tourism Enhancement Fund, and also additional funds at a slightly higher interest rate, but still very, very competitive, that the Exim Bank offers for small and medium-sized tourism entities. Thank you very much, Lisa.
Omar, I just want to say to encourage, because I know a lot of entities are very afraid of financial institutions, afraid of the many things they have to provide. Come and let us bring and let us and see if we can work through it with you.
Good. That's open invitation there. Come in and talk to Lisa and her staff at the Exim Bank and let them show you how best, they're willing to work with all the small and medium-sized tourism entities to see how they can advance their businesses. Thank you very much, Lisa. Thank you again, Kyle. And we want to say thanks to our other two presenters, Nicola Maddenbray, Chairman for Gastronomy, and Kamal Banki, who is the Chairman for the Sports and Entertainment Network. We thank you all for your enlightening presentations as we navigate in this post-pandemic world. And the rebounding of tourism is such that, we are seeing, the flights coming back, the visitors coming back. There's just this yearning for travel, and Jamaica continues to be hot. So thank you very much to all our presenters. We want to thank you, our audience, for joining us today in the Knowledge Network online series. These are held again at the end of every month, usually on the last Thursdays of each month, and we have different topics, and we implore you to come back and join us and participate in another online virtual forum. So thank you very much. And I want to thank the team at the Secretariat, the Tourism Linkages Secretariat, led by Caroline and Simone and the others, Sashana. Thank you very much for your hard work and all our production team. Thank you, and we look forward to joining you at another virtual forum. Have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Omar.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, both.